Hi everybody, I'm here with Gina from Launchmetrics. It's her first time here. Is it your first time at the KEYHOUSE, right?
Yeah, it's my first time here in the KEYHOUSE.
And she was here to share with us various innovation with regards to, what was he saying, voice?
The voice-centric approach. Yeah,
See,
exactly.
that was so interesting because I actually went to her keynote. Give us a bit more information about what is the voice-centric approach?
Sure. Essentially, I have presented today what we do in Launchmetrics as a marketing platform and data analytics company. And I was talking about this voice-centric approach. There is a known system that we have been developing in the last years. And it's a system in which we help brands, we have fashion, luxury, and beauty brands to understand what's the return of investment of their marketing activities. So this voice-centric approach, what it's doing is essentially giving information about 5 different voices that are essentially all the platforms, all the channels that we are using today in marketing and communications, like influencers, like the social media, like the blogs, the websites. So all them can be grouped into 5 different voices. So these 5 different voices, what are telling us is how to move consumers, how to move the customer through the path to purchase. So depending on what are your goals, you can work with one voice, with the influencer's voice, or with the celebrity's voice, with their own media voice. You can do your voice mates to achieve your goals with respect to the consumer.
And what are your thoughts on influencer marketing?
Because
I felt like 2 years ago, to have an influencer on board was a really big thing. People really wanted to get that on board, get somebody with followers and with a voice. Do you think this is something that fashion brands are still investing in?
I think it's obviously we had this influencer phenomenon I don't know, 8 years ago or something like that, where everyone wanted to work with influencers. Yes. I will say that today the phenomenon is more stable. Everyone understood that influencers came to stay, so they are one more part of the fashion industry at the end. Also, they changed a little bit. They started as bloggers, posting some images about their looks.
Susie Bubbles, from what is it, 10 years ago now?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think she was one of the first influencers, Susie Bubbles. Now she's sitting front row at all the shows, getting packed quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, from the Susie Bubble of 10 years ago to the influencer today, what has been the change?
It has changed. The first thing is that at the end, they are much more professionals. At the end, there's the professional influencers, how they create content, how they report the results that they can give to the brands, how they are signing agreements with the brands every time they are collaborating with them. The whole influencer marketing scenario has changed. But then also in terms of the way brands introduce influencers into their campaigns, into their strategies, it's quite different. At the beginning, everything was about, okay, I'm gonna give you this dress or this bag. You just have to post on your Instagram or on your blog with the bag, and that's it. Today it's much more complex. Today brands really want to see a realistic return on their collaboration with influencers. So the strategies behind are much more elaborated, let's say, through the own media, through different tactics. So I will say today we are much more professionals as a brand in the way we work with influencers.
Do you think that influencers have changed in the sense that 10 years ago they felt a bit like ordinary people, and hence why people really loved following influencers, versus today where it seems very much celebrity driven?
Yeah, I mean, I think there is still a difference between influencers and celebrities. So we can say that there is still a small difference. And one of the things that we always highlight from the report that we produce in Launchmetrics about influencer marketing is micro influencers. So the smallest influencers are the ones that are more valued by brands today. So at the end, the reason why is because brands are not trying to get anymore the biggest buzz in the world. What they are really trying to get is to achieve their consumer. And sometimes these consumers are not in the mass influencers that are almost celebrities. Sometimes this consumer is in the micro influencers with a much more segmented audience. And it's easier also to get the attention of your consumers through someone that is not selling everything every day, every time, but someone that is really taking care of their publication, that is looking for the quality of them. So yeah, I think there is still that difference between celebrity, that it's absolutely awareness, absolutely getting the biggest buzz, really fast, immediate, and with influencers, it's kind of different. Even within the influencer marketing, there are different types of influence.
When I talk celebrities, I was thinking more along the Insta celebs.
Celebs, like Chiara Ferragni,
yes,
for
exactly,
example.
Not so much like your Kim Kardashians or anything like that. I'm thinking more along the lines of like those type. They become famous on Instagram because of what they produce and what kind of content they bring. But you said something that was quite interesting in your talk today. You said something about your voice doesn't have to be so loud. Mm-hmm. What was it you said exactly? Your voice doesn't have to be so loud to be heard or for your growth to be bigger. I don't know what you said. It was something and it just stuck in my head because I think your point was saying I think I actually tweeted it. I think your point was basically saying, the louder the voice does not mean that they're a better influencer for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like what I would say, like at the end, it doesn't mean that because you are getting a lot of mentions, you are getting a biggest value because. I mean, at the end, what we are using in Launchmetrics is this voice-centric approach, but then also the media impact value. There is this criteria, this proprietary algorithm that we have developed to understand like how much money represents your marketing tactic with influencers or with own media or with celebrities. So it's just one unique criteria. So essentially what I was saying, it doesn't mean that because you get a ton of publications for example, in media, in little newspapers, in magazines, it doesn't mean that you are going to get a super big media impact value. Sometimes if these publications, if these mentions are not quality enough or are not reaching the target that you want to target, they are not getting the value that you need, really. So that was the message. Like at the end, quantity doesn't mean always quality. So we need to find a balance of understanding the return of investment in based on these two elements. So quantitative elements, but also qualitative elements.
So we're talking a lot about marketing and so forth, but I'm not sure that some people who are from the textile industry might not be familiar with Launchmetrics. So can you just tell people what Launchmetrics is about so people can understand where you're coming from?
Yeah, sure. Launchmetrics started as a fashion tech company in New York. We are an American company, and we started helping brands to manage their fashion shows on New York Fashion Week and their sample management. But obviously, like Launchmetrics has been working for over a decade, so more than 10 years, into which we have become into a full-scale company. So today what we do is we're a marketing platform and data analytics company. We help marketing and communication professionals. Basically, essentially, this is our biggest target in fashion, luxury, and beauty companies to do essentially three things. The first thing is to understand what are the voices that matter for them. So what are these channels, platforms that are really giving them value. Then secondly, we are helping them to activate these voices because we have some tools for event organization, for samples management, for digital galleries. So we provide them with these software tools to really amplify and activate these voices. And finally, the most important part of our solutions, because what we have is a suite of solutions of 10 different solutions. It's the one that is supporting them in the measurement. So in understanding how their campaigns are performing compared to the industry, compared to the market. So we are providing them with technology and also with data analysis on their marketing campaigns.
So you're quite technical. I mean, what kind of brands do you work with?
We work with more than 1,000 brands all around the world, brands and agencies. So essentially some of the biggest names that we have as the clients, it's Fendi, Burberry, Topshop, Net-a-Porter, Adidas. So these are some of the brands that work with us. But obviously at the end, Launchmetrics is providing solutions for small, medium and big brands.
I was about to ask you next, can someone who's smaller work with you guys?
Exactly. Like at the end, like for example, the samples management solution is like one specific tool that it's really good for big brands because at the end it's really tracking everything that is happening. And when you have a huge brand that is in many different places in the world, it's really useful and it's really valuable. But then for smaller brands, for example, the measurement part, it's so important because they need to save time and money. And for doing that, what they can really do is understanding understanding like the numbers, understanding their performance, so they don't lose the time in things that are not working. They go directly to what is working and what is giving them effective results. So for them, in that case, in the small, medium companies, like the monitoring or the measurement solutions are the ones that are more useful.
You basically help a company run a bit better then.
Yeah, exactly. We're
Well,
working on that.
this is the first time to the Key House. How have you found it?
I mean, I think it's really impressive, like all the different projects, the different companies and brands are working here. Like when I entered here, I was like, wow, this is huge. Yeah, I mean, I think all type of initiatives, and especially we're talking about sustainability, that is a big topic this year, last year, the industry is talking about that. So I think it's really important that the industry starts like understanding the importance of that we have one planet, that we are impacting really hard in the climate change in the planet. So I think it's really important to have this kind of trade fairs, this kind of events, so to make people share, network, understand,
people.
share, educate, yeah. So
exactly.
yeah, I think it's super interesting.
Well, thank you so much for coming to the Key House,
Thanks.
Gina. Always lovely to have you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.